Times were good in the 1930s at Rossall. The number of boys in the school were growing and they were enjoying a great variety of sports and activities. Trips out on Sunday afternoons would take them to places of historic interest, like Sizer Castle, Gawthorpe and Brewsome Hall. And unbeknown to everyone, this was to be an ideal introduction for the boys for a very unusual and unexpected adventure yet to come. When war seemed probable in 1938, the headmaster had been in secret negotiations with Westminster School, and there was an understanding between the two schools that if war did break out, Westminster would relocate to the comparative safety of the Fylde coast. It came as a great shock when the Ministry of Works notified Rossall that the campus would be requisitioned and the school had to make alternative arrangements for the boys and the common room. The very next day, war broke out on the 1st of September 1939. There was only 24 days to the start of term to find a venue large enough. Lowther Castle, Repton and the Isle of Man were unable to take the school en masse. But with the help of an old Rossalian and the willingness of the Countess of Carlisle, Narworth Castle, just outside Carlisle, was made available for the senior school. As people were dashing up to Carlisle to make arrangements, an ideal place for the junior school was found just 11 miles away at Kirklington Hall. Narworth Castle, a stately splendour and great historic interest set in the lovely country, could not but impress the boys on their arrival as they approached. The banqueting hall with priceless tapestries, historic pictures and suits of armour was a stark difference from the buildings at Rossall. The beautiful panelled drawing room, library and music room made an inspiring setting for the classroom, whilst the picture gallery was to become the dormitory. The magnificence of the great hall was converted into an assembly room and dining room. The masters were scattered around the castle, and one poor master was allocated the dungeon as his study. It was only right for the boys to explore the countryside, and as they walked over the fields and across the streams, they arrived upon an impressive Lanercost Priory, situated amongst medieval structures where occasionally they attended Sunday service. But it was climbing the spiral staircase to the upper room in the Lord William Tower at Narworth for Holy Communion on a Sunday mornings that the boys remembered so fondly and joked that they felt one step closer to God. Life at Narworth started out as a great adventure, but as term wore on, conditions at the castle deteriorated, and as the severe winter set in, the boys were finding life hard. In January, new wooden huts were erected to provide better classroom and laboratory facilities. Activities were key for keeping the boys occupied and entertained. In the harsh winter, they visited Tolkien Tarn, where the boys practised their skills of skating on the frozen lake. And when spring arrived, rowing became a new sport for the Rossalians. The locals were to have their peace shattered on what was usually a very tranquil lake on the afternoon of the first ever house rowing competition. There was little chance of playing their favourite summer game of cricket as there was no real pitch. However, the rural location was ideal for long runs through the countryside. Meanwhile, the junior school took over Kirklington Hall, which was large enough for the 40-plus boys and Mr. and Mrs. Dennis plus the staff. The great outdoors offered plenty of space for activities, exploration and fun. Being a Christian Foundation school, it was important for the boys to attend church regularly. So each Sunday they would walk half a mile down the country lanes, past the farms and vicarage, up the steps to a beautiful Kirklington Parish Church. By the end of the summer term in 1940, the Ministry of Pensions agreed to vacate Rossall so that the 250 boys could return to start the new academic year in late September. The headmaster felt that although there had been a number of traumas whilst at Narworth, the school had bonded together as never before. Within weeks of the boys returning to Rossall, the Board of Education requested that space be made available for Allane's school to be accommodated on the campus. Their school had also been requisitioned at short notice. 200 boys arrived from London in January 1941. The houses were reorganised and Allane were accommodated either side of the archway and in rooms running down towards Big School. Separate classrooms were used and clever timetabling enabled Allane to use the chapel, laboratories, gym, swimming baths and tuck shop at different times to the Rossall boys. The association between Rossall and Allane was thought to be the most successful of the wartime pairings of schools. The Vice Master of Rossall recorded, "Here two schools live side by side, both maintaining their own traditions, learning from the other and above all the meaning of give and take." A group of those boys returned to Rossall for a nostalgic visit in 2001 and spoke fondly of their time and adventures in the north. Once back, after their time away from Rossall, one boy was moved to write about the Rossall spirit. "I am the beauty of our chapel, our hymns and singing, the sound of the sea at night and the summer sunset behind the aisle. I am the whining wind, the driving rain, the biting sand and the stinging hail, stirred by the tempestuous sea and its charging horses and flying foam. I am the boys, the past and present, the masters, the servants and all those concerned with my happy home, the traditions and customs, the joy and sadness. The love of this is our school."